Hello, guys, and welcome to the F1 Frenzy. Today, we will cover the key talking points of the 2023 Italian Grand Prix. While Zandvoort gave us one of the most exciting races due to the rain gods playing havoc, Monza was equally impressive in terms of entertainment and various battles for points throughout the race. So, let's get right into it. Alpine Trouble. After a superb performance from Alpine in Zandvoort, where Pierre Gasly managed to finish P3 and get a podium, and Esteban Ocon also secured a single point, it was all doom for Alpine in the qualifying, where both the drivers got eliminated in Q1. Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll has managed to outdo himself by finishing plumb last in the qualifying session. The Canadian driver's performance has been in stark contrast to the two-time world champion teammate Fernando Alonso, who has been the only driver to qualify within the top 10 of the season. Lance was not helped by the fact that he had a very limited running in free practice, and his 20th place finish qualifying would surely raise some questions on the Aston Martin pit wall. Albon Masterclass. Alex Albon has yet again outperformed the Williams FW45 and finished P6 in qualifying, ahead of the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. The Williams has been slippery in a straight line speed and took full advantage of it on one of the fastest circuits on the F1 calendar. Norris hangs by the skin of his teeth. Lando Norris qualified for Q3 by just 13 milliseconds ahead of Yuki Tsunoda, who finished P11. The Papaya driver has been impressive in qualifying throughout the season, regularly outperforming his rookie teammate Oscar Piastri. However, in Monza, Norris was unable to impress on the medium tires in Q2 and qualified for Q3 by the skin of his teeth. Exciting battle for the top three. The qualifying battle for the top three places between the Ferrari duo of Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, along with current world champion Max Verstappen, was edge of the seat stuff. On soft tires, Ferrari took an early 1-2 with Sainz setting the pace at 0.032 seconds ahead of Leclerc. Verstappen was only third after running wide on the exit of Roggia, which cost him a vital 10th. Pole position changed hands three times in the final seconds as Leclerc produced a 1 minute 20.361, which was beaten by Verstappen's 1 minute 20.307, and then Carlos Sainz unleashed a 120.294, taking the top spot by 0.013 seconds. The trio were separated by just 0.067 seconds, and like Martin Brundle aptly said, the top three are covered by a blink of an eye. Ferrari vs Red Bull. Ferrari gave the Tifosi a very good show. Carlos Sainz held up Max Verstappen for 14 laps before the leads changed hands and Max blasted off into the distance. Max was like a Ferrari sandwich with Sainz, Max and Leclerc all within the DRS zone of each other. Eventually, Max forced an error from Sainz, who locked up into turn 1. Later in the race, both the Ferraris fought hard against the charging Red Bull of Sergio Perez, who had to take the shorter route into turn 1 with Sainz placing his Ferrari perfectly to defend against the Red Bull. Eventually, the Red Bulls finished 1-2, but the Scarlett Ferraris gave a very good show to their home fans with the two Ferraris finishing P3 and P4. Ferrari vs Ferrari. Once the two Red Bulls were through, it was the two Ferraris who were racing each other hard for the final podium spot. Sainz, who was impressively defending the whole race against the two Red Bulls, had to eventually defend against Charles Leclerc later in the day and managed to stay ahead of his teammate. It all happened in the final laps, with the two Ferraris nearly running into the back of each other, locking up their tires, running by side, and eventually even touching each other. But luckily, the Ferraris escaped without any damage to either car and a well-fought race at the end. Albon DRS train. Alex Albon, as with his qualifying, finished an impressive P7 and kept behind the McLaren duo of Norris and Piastri throughout the race. The Williams, as ever, was impressive on the straight line, and even though the McLaren seemed to be a faster car, even with DRS, overtaking Albon seems to be a troublesome job these days. The Williams driver has been very impressive throughout the season and especially after the break, where he has finished P7 and P8. Aston Martin troubles. Fernando Alonso finished P9, a stark contrast to the P2 finish in Zandvoort. After the early success in the season, the Aston Martin team has blown hot and cold and the car has not adapted well to the high speed circuits. Lance Stroll finished P16, effectively just outracing the two horses after Tsunoda's DNS and Ocon's DNF due to steering troubles. The Silverstone based outfit have recently admitted to taking a step backwards in their development, which has slowed down the car. However, they did show positive signs in Zandvoort after the break, but the high speed circuits and the lack of performance from Stoll has been hurting the team throughout the season. 10 out of 10 from Max Verstappen. It was the day of breaking records in the home of the Tifosi as Max Verstappen broke the record for consecutive race wins, which was previously held by Sebastian Vettel from his Red Bull days. Max has been an unstoppable force this season, and with the Red Bull providing him a capable car, Max has been blitzing past everyone. Bar the Saudi Arabia and Azerbaijan Grand Prix, Max has won every single race so far into 2023, and the record is surely a testament to the skill of the Dutch driver. While Max Verstappen has broken the record for the most consecutive race wins, Ferrari gave us an impressive show, and the Tifosi would have taken confidence from their race in Monza that they could perhaps beat the Red Bulls with a little bit of luck this season. However, it would be no mean feat as Max Verstappen and Red Bull have been in ominous form. Nothing from the changing conditions in qualifying, rains, or red flags have caused any problem to the Dutch maestro. Barring a reliability concern, who knows if they can be beaten this season?